When a man marries you, it means nothing. When a man tells you that he loves you, it also means nothing. Even when a man has a child with you, it doesn't mean what we women want to believe that it means. Everything a man does for us, he takes us on dates, he spends his time, money and effort on us. We see it as proof that that man really loves us. And when he finally falls on his knees and asks us to be his wife for the rest of his life, that is for us the ultimate proof that from all the women he knows, he chooses us to spend the rest of his life with. And if all of these steps, even until marrying you and having a child with you, don't include that he feels that he wants to sacrifice part of his identity for you, then he doesn't love you enough. So instead of focusing on the ring on your finger, focus on what he had to do in order for you to get that ring.
I have a question for the men. Do you guys still want to get married? Like, is that still a thing?
No. A lot of men don't want to get married, and it's not because they don't like the thought of having a lifelong partner to be there for them when they need it, but a lot of men don't want to get married because they're avoiding potential divorce. In a lot of cases, divorce ruins a man's life. He has to completely start over. And in general, marriage doesn't benefit men a whole lot. So while a lot of men like the idea of having long-term relationships, it's just not worth it.
Would you consider a prenup?
Prenups are regularly thrown out all the time. They're typically non-enforceable, especially the longer the marriage goes on, the less likely they are to be enforced. Men get absolutely destroyed in marriage and in divorce. Financially, when it comes to the kids, women are more likely to get custody. And then also, if you do get a divorce, the financial cost of just getting the attorney, getting all that involved. If it's a contested divorce, you're going to spend mid 5 figures, 6 figures on attorneys. And you got to pay for her attorney too. 50% of marriages end in divorce. 80% of divorces are initiated by women. 90% if she's college educated. 90% of child support payments go from men to women. 97% of alimony payments go from men to women. You know, you have no fault divorce. So a woman can cheat on you. She can still get half her shit.
Modern marriage has become a risky endeavor for men, often resembling a form of slavery. Nearly 60% of marriages end in divorce, and it is predominantly initiated by women, about 80% of the time, rising to 90% if the woman has a college degree. With no-fault divorce being widely accepted across states, a woman can seek a divorce, even if she was unfaithful, knowing the legal landscape is heavily biased in her favor. In most cases, men going through a divorce lose their homes and at least half of their other assets. Women are also more likely to gain custody of the children, leaving fathers with minimal visitation, an average of only 14% of the time. Despite these limited rights, men are still required to pay child support. This obligation remains even if they lose their job or suffer an injury, effectively binding them to an endless financial commitment. Worse still, there are cases where men are compelled to pay child support for children that are not biologically theirs, and proving otherwise is their responsibility. Even when they succeed, the law often mandates continued support if the children were born during the marriage.
I wouldn't get married, man. You can be loyal to somebody without being married. You can literally do everything you can married, other than a few advantages of taxes and what have you, even if you're not married. That way, if anything happens in the future, you don't have to worry about getting divorced, because that's very costly. It's literally a process I don't wish on anybody. And you have to get the state involved and the authorities involved. Why? Why get married in the first place? Guess what? If someone asked me what my real advice is, whether or not they should get married, I would say it's a personal decision, of course, but my advice would be no, not legally. Get married under the eyes of God. Have a ceremony. By all means, get married under the eyes of God. Get married between yourselves. Just don't get married with the state. I think if everybody just started getting married between themselves and under God, life would be a lot better, because there wouldn't be so many divorces and so many problems.
This man is right. There is no benefit for men to get married. But he is mistaken a bit, because if you do live with a woman for years without being married, well, certain states have what is known as common law marriage. This means The relationship is treated legally the same as a formal marriage, meaning that in the event of a breakup, the laws around divorce, property division, and spousal support could apply. In states that common law marriage is not recognized, cohabitation rights may still provide some legal protections to a woman. These rights can involve property and asset division, palimony, which is similar to alimony, whereby a man can be ordered to support a woman financially on the basis of her claiming he had once said verbally he would financially support her in the event of a breakup. So even leaving together for a long is a bad idea for men.
So speaking as a former trad wife, I love it when I see comments like this. If you want the best for them, meaning women, other women, encourage them to have a traditional marriage. The further we go from that, the higher the divorce rate. You're setting them up for divorce. Yeah, so I was a trad wife for nearly a decade. My ex-husband worked. He provided a really lavish lifestyle for us. All he had to do was go to work. And when he came home from work, he could just relax and do whatever he pleased. I took care of everything. I cooked, I cleaned, I took care of all of the everything. I even did repairs around the home. Wanted to work out, he worked out. If he wanted to golf, he golfed. I even purchased gifts and took care of stuff for his children from his first marriage. I also had no access to any assets, but like that's okay, right? Because women don't need that. Why would women need their own money? Oh, well, women need their own money so they can leave, right? And that's eventually what I did. I left him because traditional marriage, that's the racket. That's actually the scam. I talk about money in relationships for women so that women can protect themselves, because whether you're in a traditional marriage or not, there's no guarantee that things are going to work out. And whether he is a provider or not, there's no guarantee things are going to work out. Women need to protect themselves because divorce harms women far more than men. So yeah, traditional marriage, the trad wife life sure looks good on paper, not so much.
This woman had a husband that worked hard to give her a beautiful, comfortable, lavish life. She is ungrateful and entitled. Her ex-husband came home from a hard day's work and wanted to rest and relax when getting home. She obviously does not think him being at work the whole day to be a big deal. She even complains about him wanting to golf once in a while. These are silly excuses. She probably met a Chad and thought the grass was greener on the other side. It's so obvious she is bitter about her terrible choice to end her marriage. Men, this is why it is a terrible idea to get married, as this woman is just a drop in the ocean of the women out there. Even though her husband worked hard to give her a comfortable life, she obviously never appreciated it.
Yo, you don't want to get divorced, man. This shit is no joke, man. Had to go through a custody fight for my kids just to see my kids, man. That shit's fucked up, man. First of all, you don't want to be a man in family court. Yo, man, I was in court. That shit was scary, man. Like, to not know if you're going to be able to fucking see your kids. You know? And, you know, when I got divorced, I wanted it to be smooth. I bought a house around the corner. Okay? Like fucking quarter of a mile. Like, right around the fucking corner. Damn near the same house. Okay? But wasn't enough, man. I went in there, and that judge was like, Mr. Rock, I need to see pictures of the beds in the bedroom to make sure the children have a place to sleep. So, you think I got a manger? What, I got a $1 million house with no beds? Okay, so, showed him the picture, right? But that wasn't enough. Then the judge was like, Mr. Rock, I need to see pictures of the refrigerator and the food inside to make sure the children have enough to eat. I'm like, what have you heard about me? Yo, fellas, I hope none of you get divorced. I'm telling you right now, if you ever do anything good for your kids, take a picture of that shit. If you hug them, take a picture. If you feed them, take a picture. Because you never know when you might need receipts of love. Winter is coming. That shit was like humiliating, man. Trying to prove your parenthood, man. So I know I said you're not supposed to compete in a relationship, but after you go through that shit, you're like, am I gonna lose my kids? It's like, yo, I'm going hard every time I have my kids. And I always went hard, but I'm going extra hard.
I want a divorce. I don't want to be with you anymore, and I'm sorry.
Oh no! What will I do with all this new alimony and child support and freedom? Guess I'll just have to go to brunch with my girlies like every single weekend, get wasted, and throw my little kitty around town. Just looking for the one, you know? Are you the one? Are you Crosby's stepdad? Are you Crosby's stepdad? And then just introducing one boyfriend after another boyfriend to Crosby. It's kind of be like a revolving door of bad decisions, just looking for the one. Where is he?
You want multiple guys to raise Crosby?
I just want.
First of all, dude, I just told you I wanted a divorce, and this is the response.
Oh no. Is that a dare or a double dare?
This clip is a prank video, but it shows a man's agony does not just stop after a divorce, but the realization that his ex-wife will now go on a body count rampage, exposing the children to different chads in addition to the woman now enjoying his money, that he lost due to alimony and child support payments. As the woman says, his former house is now an open ticket to Chad after Chad, with devastating consequences to the well-being of the children.